I don't think anybody has this lane like Pusha T. No. They don't have that voice. They don't have that type of wordplay. They don't have that type of delivery. The credibility. Like, you ain't gonna test Pusha T. You're just not. What he's saying, you believe it. And that's what I think is really important about a rapper like Pusha T.
Dead Hip Hop album review, Pusha T, My Name Is My Name. We have another special guest, Georgina, the first lady of Mixtape Madness in London. Look, I'm gonna be 100% honest. The last project of Pusha T that I listened to was Wrath of Kane, and I was so disappointed with Wrath of Kane. And I really didn't know what to expect on the album at all. I wasn't even really looking forward to it. But goddamn was I wrong. Was I so wrong? Because this album, I think, is the best project that he's ever put out, in my opinion. This is my favorite Pusha project, hands down. And it starts with the beginning, King Push, because he set the tone for the whole album with that. In the hook, he says,
I have niggas about trap niggas, I don't sing hooks.
I don't sing hooks. He set the tone for the whole project. And he even put himself on the same level in aspect of moving weight and all that with Jay-Z. And I found that a little clever because everybody always wants to compare it to Jay-Z, the rapper. He's comparing himself to Jay-Z, the dope dealer. You know what I'm saying? The weight mover. So I was like, okay, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? So, but off rip, I liked it. And my favorite track, which is tied, which is Suicide and Nostalgia. Suicide, I'll tackle that first. That is the prime epitome of that Clipse sound. And when it came on, I'm like, oh man, I love this. This right here is Pusha. And I think for the entire project, he just sounded so comfortable. Like, this is his lane. This is his lane. And then my next favorite track on this was Nostalgia. And I liked it. No disrespect to Pusha. I liked it because of Kendrick. Man, look. There's so many things. Everybody in hip hop has covered everything. Everybody's already done said, I'm dope, I'm this, I'm whatever. But it's how you say it. It's how you are different from the pack. And that's what Kendrick did. He told a parallel story and basically telling his dad, like, nigga, I'm gonna be your connect because every verse I drop is a brick. I'm dope, nigga. Golly, yo,
reap what you sow, nigga.
Now yo, Kendrick is that dude right now. The next track I really fuck with is Snitch. And I watched the interview with Pusha T and how he was explaining how that song came about. One of his homies that he grew up with basically snitched on him and he called him to tell him. Pusha told Pharrell. Pharrell says, man, that's a song. We got to make a song. So he was working on it. About 2 weeks later, he called up Pusha and said, sorry nigga, I gotta come home. He's like, that's the hook, or trying to come home. And Push was like, yeah, you know, that's cool. He's like, you don't get it, that's the acronym for snitch. Boom. And then just, I think the third verse on that, just him, like the culmination of like, damn, you know, like we did all this shit together and you the one that got the feds coming around. Like I would have never thought that would have been you, you know. Like I just think the album in its entirety was Pusha T's comfort zone. Even the commercial tracks, the one with Chris Brown, you know what I'm saying? He just sounded, yeah, Sweet Serenade, you know what I'm saying? And if I wouldn't have read that was Chris Brown, I wouldn't have known that was Chris Brown. You know what I'm saying?
Couldn't anybody, the way they did his vocals, it could have been Kanye, bro.
Yep. And I really love this project. I really love this project. I think that by far, again, I'm gonna say it again, like this is by far the best Pusha T project ever for me. Georgina, what you got? What you think about? Cause I seen you tweet saying that I hate when people think that Pusha T is only a rapper that talks about selling dope, right?
Yeah, a lot of people assume that just because he's a coke rapper, that he's going to be whack. And, you know, the sort of typical sort of drug dealer rapper. So when people haven't listened to Pusha, they think, oh, right, he's just a coke rapper, let's just leave it. I don't need to hear that sort of stuff. And I mean, I'm far from a drug dealer. I'm quite a nice middle class person and I don't sell drugs. But I still enjoy listening to him because the way that he talks about it is very poetical. And the way that he delivers each bar, I think it's just not what you sort of expect from someone that raps about that. The album itself, I really love it. You get the first half is amazing. I think there's 6 really solid tracks. But then the second half, I like it, but he put 3 terrible songs all next to each other. No Regrets featuring G.O.O.D. Sorry, G.O.O.D just pisses me off anyway, so I still listen to it, but I thought, oh gosh, no, I don't like this song. And then Let Me Love You with Kelly Rowland, which, it's just horrific.
It is horrific.
And if he was going to go for a commercial track, he's tried to do it seems, but it's just gone terribly wrong. And then Who I Am with 2 Chainz and Big Sean, which is just like, I don't know, it's probably one of the worst songs I've ever heard of Pusha's. And I blame it on 2 Chainz and Big Sean. Big Sean in particular was very weak. I don't expect 2 Chainz to put out an amazing verse, but I sort of expect something decent from Big Sean.
I thought Big Sean was
so bad. But then luckily you get Nostalgia, which saves it, and Pain and Snick, which I don't love as much as people seem to love those songs, but they're better than the features anyway.
What do I think about 40 Acres though?
But anyway.
Yeah.
Is that the one with Kelly Rowland?
No, that's the one with the dream.
Oh yeah, it was good. That 40 Acres was that.
That's the one with the dream and
You can pee, nigga. Isn't that?
no, that's who I am. Like who I am.
No, 40 Acres is the dream that I...
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I liked it. You know, I liked it. I got it like it was kind of like stand your ground type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can take whatever you want, but leave me with my shit. You know what I'm saying? I think it ties in, your whole 40 acres and your mule and all that. So I liked it. You know, the hook was alright.
This was a solid project. I think I'm not like super sold on it like FIFO is. I think some of the production didn't really pop a lot. Like Pusha T, I've always been a fan of Pusha T. Pusha T is a good MC, and I think of course with he was gonna still be on a drug, coke dealing type of rap. But I think the way his wordplay and his rhyme scheme is, he can still kind of pull it off still. But I think like the song with Chris Brown, I think the production didn't snap. And then the song that you like, Snitch. Snitch was a good song, but I just think the production just didn't pop out. But my favorite song on that, besides the Kendrick joint, is Numbers on the Board. I love that shit. I had that shit on fucking repeat. I love the production.
I'm the 88 MJ.
Yeah, man, had the Headbutt You Evelyn. Like I thought that was real clever. That joint. The Rick Ross song could have been, I liked it, but I didn't like Kanye fucking moaning.
Okay, so that was Kanye.
Yeah, that was Kanye.
He sounds like one of them, is it Dolphin that goes,
Yes, like, I thought that's right.
Even more from that.
Like, I thought that song wasn't bad.
His feature is actually okay, and I'm not a Rick Ross.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of anyone, but I'm not a massive Rick Ross fan at all. But his verse on that is actually good.
I think Pusha wrote it.
It sounds as if he's actually thought about
Exactly.
Pusha ain't write it.
Pusha wrote that verse.
Pusha ain't write it.
Pusha wrote that
Ross
verse.
hater.
And then when I heard the joint, Let Me Love You with Kelly Rowland, I was like, wait a minute, is this Mace? He brought Mace back for a second.
Yeah, and that's what I thought too.
Shit, he brought Mace back.
I was like, oh wow, that's so cool. Mace is us.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I'm like, okay, he brought Mace, and I'm thinking like, wait a minute, this is not Mace. I'm like, why
jacked the whole flow?
Why he jacked his whole persona on that song? Like everything about Mace on that shit was
funny though.
I was like, what in the world? And then what song I thought I wasn't gonna like, but I was like, damn, this shit is hot too. Was Pain, because I think Future wasn't too like. I'm not really a huge Future fan. He wasn't too annoying. I thought he perfected that hook on that song good, and Pusha T delivered.
He's a hook guy.
Yeah, but it wasn't. But sometimes when Future does hooks, it'd be like too overbearing. Sometimes it'd be like, oh damn, Future, shut the fuck up. But I didn't get that feel on Pain. Yeah, I'm not so like FIFA. I still like Fear of God better, but yeah, this was a solid project. Like I said, some of the production just didn't pop, and I'm kind of glad he didn't have Pharrell on here, because I got a feeling if he would have had
on the hook.
Right, I'm talking about like as far as production.
Sorry.
I think if he would have had Pharrell on here, I would have been probably like saying what Mike was saying about Fonte. This would have been another Clipse. It'd have been another Clipse album minus Malice. You know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of glad he didn't go that route. He kind of went with different production and went over different beats and stuff.
Yeah, I wasn't too high on this album when I first listened to it the first couple of times. It sounded to me like, not that Pusha didn't necessarily sound comfortable, but it sounded like he didn't really almost fit all the way for me. And I think a lot of it probably had has to do with the production. Listening to this and taking it in context with it being a mainstream album, it sounded like there was a reach for that mainstream sound. But I'm listening to it, I'm like, King Push was dope, Numbers on the Board was dope, Hold On was cool, and it got better because the production kind of changed up as the song went on. Of course, the Sweet Serenade was good, and like everybody said, Chris Brown is on that, and it's kind of good because we don't know it's Chris Brown, right? He's not really annoying. But there was a part in this album which is the middle tracks, right? The 3 with Jeezy, the Kelly Rowland track, and then of course the Who I Am track, and those kind of 3 that I think she touched on, like they were right there, like back to back to back, and it kind of threw off the album a little bit. It's like, what are you doing? So
spread them out a bit.
Yeah, probably could have
less intense.
Yeah. And it sounded like, he was kind of, and that's the part where it sounded like he was kind of reaching a little bit, and it's really weird because Pusha with the Clipse was, he had mainstream success and he was on the radio and doing this, that, and the other. But overall, I think the more and more I listened to it, it became better and better. I'm not like FIFA, I'm not blown away. I think it's an okay project. Overall, I think the production was kind of hit or miss, here and there. But overall, I think the songs that are good on this album, like Nostalgia, the first 3 tracks, well, I think they were really, really good. And then, even Snitch. Snitch I didn't like at first, but I liked the story. Right. I liked the story that he was telling with that. So when I tuned into the story and how he was telling the story about this boy, I was like, oh, this is kind of dope.
This album, I thought, was fucking dope as shit.
Thank you.
With the exception of Let Me Love You, which I've already deleted from my iPod, because that track had no business on this album. I don't want to hear no love shit from no Pusha T. I don't want to hear Pusha T next to nobody being sexy. Alright? This is felonious music. Alright? This is that shit you put on when you're driving through them fucked up parts of Detroit that you don't want to stop your car. Alright? This is that hood shit that I've been waiting for Pusha T to do. Wrath of Cain, unlike Ralph, I thought Wrath of Cain was where he finally started to find his sound. Fear of God, I don't think that worked for him because I don't think that he really sounded comfortable with the beats. I thought the production on this album was perfect for Pusha T. This is the sound that he needs. Pusha T needs to get away from those bright light flashy beats because he doesn't sound good over those. He sounds great over these dirty, these grimy, simplistic, almost minimalistic beats. And that's where I don't know where in the world you're coming from with this. He's trying to go for a mainstream sound. I don't know what track you got that from besides the Kelly Rowland track. Yeah. Even Sweet Serenade, I don't even think that was really a mainstream sounding track. It just had Chris Brown on the hook. I don't think anything on here sounded mainstream.
You don't think the Jeezy song
sounded mainstream, like thrown on a radio mainstream? No.
Sound?
I don't think Pusha T was going for a mainstream sound in any way, shape, or form with this album. I think what Pusha T did was finally stop trying to go for a mainstream sound and say, you know what? Let me do what the fuck I do. Yep. And that's what he did on this album. I think that if Pusha T had been trying to do this from the beginning, it wouldn't have took him 3 mixtapes to get here.
I agree.
This album, I think, is fucking great. Yeah, King Push, of course, was dope. Who I Am, I thought was pretty good. Nostalgia, I mean, what the fuck do you say about that? And that was one thing I did want to disagree with you. I don't think Kendrick outshined Pusha. I think it's been a long time since Kendrick was on a track where he didn't just completely demolish everybody. Pusha's verse was nasty.
He heard that control verse and he was like, okay, I'm about to be on the song with you. Guess what? I'm about to do my shit.
That shit about if he lies, he lies. If he rides, he rides.
Just like Ivan Drago. If he dies,
if he dies, he dies. Yeah. Come on, man. You cannot tell me that Pusha's verse was subpar.
No, I didn't say that. No. I didn't. I said no disrespect to Pusha because his shit is dope.
No, you didn't say that. You didn't say that part.
You said no disrespect to Pusha. I only liked it because of Kendrick.
Okay, well, fine. Well, let me clarify then, since they calling me out. No, Pusha did his thing on there. That's why I said no disrespect to him. That's the reason why I said that. His shit was dope.
Okay. Good.
But to me, I thought Kendrick, you know what I'm saying, just brought that shit. And I'm not, again, no disrespect to Pusha, because Pusha brought his shit too.
Yeah.
But Kendrick, goddamn.
I think I'm sorry, Mike, but I think it was clever how Kendrick kind of took the drug dealing aspect of saying how dope
he is.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
I think that's what made that so dope.
Exactly.
I think that's what made that like so clever. Like,
and it was a parallel story because by him telling you everything about his dad and his uncle, right? Made him being dope as a rapper relevant. And he didn't talk about, you know what I'm saying? It was
I do know what you're saying. So at the same time,
that's why
you could have left him off the track, and the track would have still been one of the best tracks on the album.
I agree.
That's what I'm saying. So you clarified, so I feel you. I got you. Cool.
Yeah, it's a difficult one for me because I do love the first half, and then I sort of feel a bit bittersweet about the second half of the album. Simply because you put those 3 tracks all next to each other. At least it's easy to skip, so you don't have to let's go to a lot of reviews I've seen have said, oh, it's so boring because all he does is rap about coke. But the fact is that he's called his album "My Name Is My Name." His name's Pusha, who's a coke dealer. He's going to rap about it, and if you don't want to listen to it, listen to Drake or someone that raps about other boring stuff. And so I don't have a problem with the content, and I find it interesting how he approaches the subject. He's very poetic, and he delivers things. He delivers bars very. Overall I do really like it. I feel a little bit let down at that middle section, and also Snitch, because it doesn't end the album how I think the album should end. But everyone else seems to love Snitch, so I might need to give it a couple of listens and maybe to hear the story. But yeah, overall I do really like it.
I'm with Mike, man. I thought that Pusha definitely found his lane with this project because this is like what I want to hear Pusha on. And Mike's right. I think he hit the nail on the head with the simplistic type beats. I think that's the reason why I felt like I could like this was. It brought me back to Clipse, like Suicide, like that type of beat. That was the type of Pusha that I remember. You know what I'm saying? I think that the production as a whole on this whole project brought that Pusha out for me. I think Snitch, I feel where B and Ken are coming from, like the beat didn't get you, but because of the story, you know, like I don't think you needed that hard of a beat because the story was there. That's what grabbed you. And sometimes, you know, like Alchemist said, you know, artists pick beats that they don't have to compete with the beat because you need to hear what they're saying. And I feel like that's the reason why he picked the beat for Snitch. I love it. I'm going back to this. I'm listening to this. King Push, man, like he just set it off. I like when artists name tracks what they are. He came off like I'm a king, I'm a god. And then, you know, I can't remember the name of the song, but I think I get where, at least in Push's case, when they're talking about I'm a god, I'm a king, I'm all this, it's like he said a line where, you know, I am a king in this realm of this dope shit, of the dope game. So I'm like, well, damn, then I understand what he's saying, like he's a god of his lane. Fuck, Pusha, keep doing this shit, nigga, because I fuck with this.
Some of the production on here just didn't pop out for me that much, and I kind of agree with her, yeah, like that middle section, the Jeezy, Kelly Rowland joint, and Who I Am, I could have definitely done without them joints, but fucking numbers on the boards, man. I don't know, that shit right there, I'm surprised y'all ain't even talk about that shit, cause that fucking song is so fucking dope. Yeah, that song is so fucking crazy, but yeah, like I said, it's a good project, it's a good, it's gonna have replay value, but I'm just not like, I'm not so happy like they are, as it.
The production on this album in spots just was not good for me, and I think the sequencing on this album, you know, could have been done a little bit better because of those couple of spots there. But overall, I mean, you know, it's okay. It definitely, you know, gets better the more I listen to it. But like, I'm not blown away like Mike and Ralph by this album. I'm happy for him. I'm happy that he put together the album that he wanted to put together, and I'm happy that he found the sound that he was looking and searching for, and he's gonna do well with it. So everybody, I mean, definitely go out and support the guys. Just not a whack album at all. I'm not saying the album is terrible at all. I'm just saying for me, it was okay.
When you hear the very first track, I rap nigga about trap niggas, I don't sing hooks, that tells you what you're about to hear. In my opinion, you're not gonna hear radio songs. You're not gonna hear comfortable, happy songs. You're gonna hear shit about trap niggas, period. And if you don't wanna hear that, like she said, if you don't wanna hear that, go listen to something else, but don't complain about the content.
Go put on Drake.
Go put on Drake, go put on whatever. He's telling you what you're about to listen to. In my opinion, this is the sound that Pusha T has needed this whole time. He was chasing something before, and it just wasn't working. But this sound, these minimal beats, these simplistic beats, these dark, dirty, grimy beats, that's what Pusha sounds perfect on. I want to hear every word Pusha says. I want to hear every inflection Pusha has. That's it, man. This album is just done so fucking well. I'm not gonna say it's album of the year like a lot of people are saying, but it's definitely one of the best projects to surface in 2013. And that's my word.